All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Chocolate Travels. I'm Joseph with Bean to Bar World, and I'm here with Melanie from 20 degrees north, 20 degrees south in France. Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So let's learn about French Bean to Bar chocolate. Let's learn a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
First of all, so I'm French. I'm on the west coast of France, nearby Nantes. So it's a great area with ocean.
Mm,
But if we have met a few years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, and you will say you would say, Melanie, you're gonna be a chocolatier. I will not be able to believe it because
really?
I never liked chocolate. But it was so it's crazy that now I eat chocolate every day. I didn't like chocolate because I think it wasn't it was very bitter when it was dark,
Mm,
too many sugar in it when it was milk.
mm.
I don't like fat. I don't like bitterness. And so I maybe like 15 years ago, I read a paper that what was happening in Africa. And so it
Mm,
was almost something I, in forbid myself to eat.
mm.
And well, I wanted to open a restaurant, and I just, when you have a restaurant here, you always have to do a chocolate dessert.
Mm.
So I tried to find some good chocolate, and then I went in the Salon du Chocolat. So I think it was 2017 or maybe 18, I can't remember. And then I ate for the first time good chocolate, bean to bar chocolate. Well, actually, it was tree to bar because it
Oh.
was the cocoa from Betulia in Colombia,
Mm.
the one from Christian. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, did you add some strawberry in it? No, 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 no. Just
Yeah.
cocoa and sugar, that's all. And it changed my life.
So that's interesting because I tell people too, when I was growing up, I didn't like chocolate.
Oh,
I didn't really
yeah.
like
See?
chocolate desserts. I didn't eat chocolate bars, and now I dedicate my life to chocolate. And it was sort of the same idea where I came across fine chocolate and I thought, wow, I didn't know chocolate can taste like this. But it's interesting because
Exactly.
I grew up in Canada. You grew up in France, which is known for chocolate, and you still didn't really like the chocolate that you came across, right? So that's very interesting.
See?
Yeah.
Same story. Almost.
So tell the viewers here, what is the meaning behind the name of your company?
When I started the company a few years ago, I was like everyone asking myself what I want to communicate. And so you have two solutions. So well, you can say like chocolatier chocolaterie from Melanie Polo. I could say Melanie Polo's company, Okay. No point of view for me that is very interesting because I think that we do nothing, the only thing we try to do it's to respect the taste of the beans.
Mm,
So you have to find a name. And as I want to do some pedagogy also with our customers, it's not an easy name, I know that, but everyone asks me why. And so when they know that it's where the latitude where the cocoa is from, well, they learn something.
mm.
So that was perfect for me.
Educational name. That's good.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. Let's talk about then how you were thinking about opening a restaurant, and did that happen? And how did you decide to become chocolate maker?
So this day, where I was supposed to stay just an afternoon in the Salon du Chocolat, I stayed like all the week. And I've seen every conference about chocolate. And I met Chloe Doutre-Roussel,
Mm,
who is one of the most famous person about bean to bar education. and I thought she was just incredible. She's well in Bean to Bar, she's like almost a star, And so at the end of the conference, everyone was on her, asking some question. So I just took the card and sent an email a few days after that, and I asked her to educate me. And the first day where I came to her, she asked me, "What do you know about chocolate?" And I was like, "It came from a pot." That's all. So it was, it has been a long way for me. And we tried so many different chocolates in her training.
Well, let me pause you for a second because you didn't like chocolate.
No,
You saw about that history in Africa and the slavery and all that, and then you went to Salon de Chocolat. So why did you want to start making chocolate? What was the driving force?
well, to show people that you can have something different.
Mm,
And I'm sure that more we're going to be, well, as a bean to bar, uh, well, people can't ignore, what's happening. So
mm.
they need to be teach. They need to know that we can do different things about chocolate. So and actually, I don't really know why it has been for me, in an evidence. It was just normal for me. I find
Do
my
you have a
way.
background in culinary? Were you a chef before?
Well, my family,
Oh, okay.
that's why. But at this time when I was young, and I asked my father to do, a level to be a cook. He just refused it. That's all. He said, "No, you have to do all the level classic school, And so I start traveling, and I learned something else at this time, and I was commercial in 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 company here and
Mm,
not far from here. So and when I had like 33, I am just ask myself, what I want to do for my 40. And I wanted to do something that I love every
mm,
day
mm.
and that I live for. So that's why first the restaurant, but then I changed my mind. I didn't even change my mind. It was just natural for me to go in chocolate. Never
Okay.
asked myself, actually.
That's wonderful. That's really interesting. And so you developed your company and you were getting some help. And but what would you say the main challenges you faced, would you say?
Oh well, I've got just one. My first company.
That's a
I've
big one.
done a first one. It was well also bean to bar, but you had the shop. Well, it was half bean to bar and one culinary food.
Mm,
And I had a partner at this time, and it wasn't a good partner, so I
mm.
stopped. It was when well, it was at the same moment than COVID,
Okay.
and it didn't go well,
Mm, mm,
So I stopped 3 years ago, and
mm.
as I need nobody to do what I like, well, I start 20 degrees north and 20 degrees south
Okay.
with Marion, who believed in the project for the first moment. And so we were two. We spent all the summer just to do some to make some chocolate, to start selling it in September. And now we are 10.
Wow. That's amazing.
So yeah, not even 3 years yet.
Yeah.
So
Because you had to learn not
so
only how to run a business, which is difficult enough, but then how to
yeah.
learn the craft that you're trying to make. So,
So that was well, the learning about chocolate when you are passionate, it's kind of easy. You read one thing, you
Mm,
can remember. When you like, everything's different.
yeah.
So, well, we do many taste test to see which origin we're going to work with. So that was a long way also because always doing pop tests, to try different roast
Hmm.
also.
Hmm.
But it was kind of fun, and but the biggest difficulty it was to when I stopped the first company is to after 3 big years working, it was to do it again. That
Hmm.
was the first thing.
Hmm.
That's kind of huge actually. But
Yeah.
so now I'm very happy. So no problem.
You're in France, and France is known. When I first started chocolate, those were the big names that we were using in 15 years ago. There was Pralus, Michel Cluziel, Bonnat, things like that. That's what fine chocolate was back then. Now you don't
Mhm.
really even hear about those in the bean to bar world anymore. So,
And not in the bean to bar.
right.
No.
But back then it was kind of because when I started, there was really no bean to bar in sort of the craft artisan point of view. It was more like fine chocolate. And then I came across in Canada, there were makers many years ago, Cyrene, Soma, Dick Taylor in California. And so they kind of became sort of another branch of Bonnet, Prelue, sort of like that. It kind of all, and now it's sort of changing a bit as well. But when I think of France and I think of French chocolate, I still those names still pop up a lot for a lot of people.
A lot.
So so how is it now for your company trying to promote your product, and the French people are already familiar with these, generation old companies? How challenging is that, or is it not an issue? What would you say?
Well, it is. It is for in many ways. When you turn on the TV and you want to see a show about chocolate, you always have those big names. It's
Mm,
always Bonnat, it's always
mm,
Pralus, it's always, Michel Cluziel. And so the journalists don't know yet. Well, they know now, but when I start, they didn't know nothing about differences about being to our world and those kind of makers.
right, right.
So it's an issue because I think that maybe once per week I hear someone saying, I'm very I know a lot about chocolate, I always eat Bonnat, for example. So the thing here that I try to do is to explain the difference with saying what I do. It's like, where come the beans? I soak the beans. I always, eat the beans when I do the roasting. It's not a machine that is with a program.
Mm, mm,
We touch all the time, the cocoa. It's not
mm,
one machine, and then
right.
you can have some chocolate. Um, Also, about the ingredients, of course. I do some chocolate with 2 ingredients for dark chocolate, just cocoa and sugar.
Right.
And that's always, someone's going to say, well, of course, how can you make difference? Well, just
Yeah.
look behind and you
I
will
think a lot of
see.
people don't realize too is how challenging it is because I used to work as a chocolatier for many years. And so obviously the couverture had less of thin, extra cocoa butter. And then when I started making my own chocolate and working with it, that's just 2 ingredients. People don't realize it's hard to, especially as a beginner, to mold that thick
Yes, it's a lot.
natural chocolate. It's difficult. Yeah.
Well, when I do some chocolate, between the first moment when I soak the beans and when I do the maturation, because I always do 5 weeks of maturation,
Okay.
uh, and I've and I've tried that. I tried to see if you have some differences. So you have. So we always do it.
Mm,
But just before the maturation, it's like 5 days. 1 day to salt and to roast,
right,
then to winnow the beans, and then in the grinder, it's even not 1 day. It's
right.
not 2 days.
3 days.
It 3 or 4, not more. But
Yeah.
so it takes a lot of time to.
That's another thing people don't realize is you can't say I'm like bake a cookie like I'm gonna bake some cookies today or I'm gonna make some bread today. You could do it in one day. You can't do that with
Yeah,
chocolate.
you can. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Even just a bar, just doing a bar, temporary bar, it's kind of easy. Uh, you just put the chocolate in
Yeah.
your temper machine, and then you do the bar. It's so easy. That's not the point.
Right, right. There's nothing
It's a
easy
point.
about what you do.
No, well,
So that brings me back to the big brands then. Do French people, because I know in other European countries too, there's a lot of trust for certain brands, like in Germany, certain German brands, in Italy, certain Italian brands. So in France, is it hard to convince people that your chocolate maybe is better than Bonnet, Pralus, Michel Cluziel?
um, when they taste, yes,
Mm,
kind of easy.
mm,
They taste, and well, they are always surprised, because you have many flavors. You can sell some fruit, and always at the second chocolate that they taste when they're in the shop, so they are like, "What did you add?" Just nothing.
yeah, yeah,
Just cocoa. So it's easy to show them that well, it's better to have a bar from Bonnat than to have a bar from Lind. So
right.
it's a first step. So
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
No, that's
so
true. It's not to say anything bad about Bonnet, Pralus, or anything like that. They've done a great deal, I think, for the chocolate world and helped
mm,
sort of the bean to bar aspect. But I remember years ago, um, when I was in Vancouver and there, it's Pralus, Michel Cluziel, I'm talking to people, and one guy was saying that he's like, I don't know, all the Pralus bars taste the same to me. And as years progressed, and you start tasting these other craft chocolate makers, you realize that yes, they have the line, all the origins, the different colors, but the flavor between them is like very, very slight,
too much fat,
Too much fat,
in the
maybe too much
bars.
refining, maybe too much roasting, but now it's a different look. So a lot of people don't understand how interesting and vibrant the other flavors can be.
Well, I think it's the fat. Yes, of course. I think it's also maybe the origin. I think there is a lot of blending
Right. Yeah.
in what they do.
Right.
And so what I ask my customers to do when they go back home is to taste the chocolate that they shop,
Are you?
and to taste
Yes,
the
that's the
other
best thing to do.
chocolate,
Yeah.
and poof,
Yeah.
it's it's
I
easier.
I always tell people to do that because in my tastings, people rely on their memory, and their memory, to be honest, about flavor is not very good. So I say take the bar home, try it next to your Lindt Cadbury, and right away your brain
You will
knows the
see,
difference and you can't go back anymore.
especially high roast.
Mm,
Very easy for customers to notice high roast that they
mm,
couldn't notice before. When they
mm,
say, "Well, it's bitter," well, do you think it's acid? Do you think it's fruity? Uh, oh yes, it's maybe that. It's not bitterness. And then when they tried the last bar, well, the other bar, well,
mm. Right.
they know and they understand about bitterness.
Right.
And when I do also the visit in here, we do like a lot of visits every week,
Tours, you mean?
especially tours.
Yes.
Sorry, in especially in summer as we are, on the west coast, and I always give them a bit of. I let them choose, smell, taste two different needs. One correctly, roast,
Mm, mm.
and the same one from the same origin,
Mm,
but too
I love
high.
that. That's good. Yeah.
And well, they always know that the
You can
one is
tell. Yeah.
burnt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
it's not only the beans, it's all those points that are very important.
Right, right. Yeah, it's amazing. Such a simple product. You're just grinding up cocoa nibs, a little bit of sugar, but there's so many variables involved to keep track of.
Everything.
Yeah.
I've done actually I've done something to let them know, well, understand that you can have more. I've done a special box about chuao
Mm,
from Venezuela. I've I took the harvest 2018 and the harvest 2020, and I put them in in a special box.
mm,
And guess what? They are very different.
yeah.
Same percentage, same way to do the chocolate, same maturation. Everything was exactly the same, but the taste
Mm,
is totally different.
mm.
So
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that stuff. And I love how passionate you are about teaching. You seem very excited to teach people. I like that. Explain to people what is Grand Cru? What is Grand Cru original?
well, Grand Cru is almost like the wine. It's a single place, a single origin
Mm,
where it comes from. You can't use Tanzania Grand Cru. It doesn't exist.
right.
Cocoa Cameli from Mbingu in
Mm,
this area.
mm,
It's a chocolate Grand Cru.
mm,
You can't say nothing else.
right.
It's like winery. It's exactly the same.
And why is that? Why should that be exciting for customers? Why is it nice to try a bar with a very specific origin of cocoa bean?
Well, I think there's two reason. Well, maybe more, but the two I think it's first all the work that a farmer or a cook or a family or smallholders, all the work that they do needs to be tasted.
Mm,
It's very important to for me and what I try to share. It's very important that people at the end can understand all the work that has been made. That's the first thing. And I think that more people will understand, that talking about a pure origin, a Grand Cru, there will be, um, they will take part of like this huge world of bean to bar or tree to bar. And if they understand that, well, it's important for all the steps of the, well, I think it's win. It's a
mm,
win-win. And that's one of the reason when I call the company like that is because I think we are in between. We are like uh, someone who will gives emotion to the customers because of the produce, because of the farmers.
mm. You're the
You always
middleman between,
exactly.
well, that's a good point. That's a really interesting point. You're basically highlighting, showcasing the farmers because you have the platform and you're bringing that to the customers. That's a really
Well,
nice
they
way to
are,
put it.
and what I do also. I went in to see Simran a few weeks ago. So I always bring a lot of bars with me, and we always do blind tests.
That's the best.
And I've done some blind tests with them. They were 12, and they all try all the bars that we have. And the big deal for me is for them to recognize their bar.
Mm.
And guess what? They did, and they always did, because all the bars are very different. So, and they know their bins. So, if I can do a bar
That's
that they
amazing.
can recognize, it shows them that I respect the product,
Right.
I respect the cocoa, and for my customers at the end, it's a pure traceability for them.
Right.
That I do a bar at the same taste of the bean.
That's a good point
That's
because a
what
lot
I
of
try to do.
people talk about transparency and traceability, but it doesn't have a lot of emotional meaning, that word, you know. But the way you said it, where you're saying that, you know, using sort of a Grand Cru as a very specific farm or co-op or whatnot is basically their what the hard work they do, like you were saying, the hard work they do would be lost if you blend it with everybody else's stuff, you know. That's a really good point too, is they're working hard to bring out that incredible flavor. And I'm sure a lot of other farmers do the same thing, but why not highlight specifically what they're doing? And why, like, just don't throw it with everyone else's, really showcase theirs.
When you do some specialty cocoa for someone, it's of course it's harder than if you were giving your cocoa to the industry for many, many reasons. First, you have to, every tree has to be, like an inventory, right?
Okay.
So they have to do this inventory. You have to have some people to help you when there's the harvest. You need to pay people. You need to select also every beans, wet beans. You have to take all those beans, wet beans, in the fermentation, and not just during the fermentation, underground, like if you do fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you when you get out the beans from a box, it's very, very, very hot. It's very, very heavy. It's like, well, you can't do that if you don't have any training.
Right.
If you put all the beans, in those to dry the beans, also it's very difficult. It's very heavy.
Very time
Everything
consuming.
is very difficult. You have to
Yeah.
salt the beans also at the end. That's a job. No, that's crazy. It's more difficult than when we do as a bean were. Way
Mm-hmm.
more.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell us then about the origins that you chose? You know, obviously you tasted a lot of beans. Why did you land on these ones specifically? And what is special about them to you?
We choose the beans. Well, it depends on many things, and it's never the price. Very
Okay.
important to say. Um, we try to tell a story about what they do when we are with our customers. So they have to do specific you have they have to oh my god have a good impact, direct impact, positive impact uh, on their area, for people,
Mm,
for ecology, whatever. But you have to they have for me what I want to know, to have a positive impact,
right. So
direct
it's not
impact.
just about sourcing cacao that tastes incredible that you can use, but you need to know
Also,
what's happening at the other end, what's
both,
benefiting. Yeah, yeah,
both,
both. Yeah.
both. I do both.
And that's a good point too,
That
is that you can do both, right? You
Yes,
can
we can do.
have
We can.
incredible cocoa beans and do, you know, sustainability and better pay for the farmers. That can be done. It's possible.
Everything can be done, and there's a lot we can do that. And sometimes I've got fantastic stories, but it's not, uh, um, they just start. So they need to, improve themselves. Sometimes about fermentation,
Right.
but I do some very, very small batches, very tiny, just to, to say, well, hi, I'm here. I
Mm,
will be here tomorrow, so you have time to improve, but I will anyway buy your beans because
mm,
you can be fantastic.
mm.
So I have a few bars like that every month.
That's a good
It
point too,
starts
because
moving.
a lot of people don't realize that the farmers don't have the means always to just invest all
Of
this
course.
money and time and create a product and say, here it is. You, the makers and other people in the industry have to go and start that improvement, right?
And sometimes a less better fermentation, well, of course you can feel it when you taste it, but when your customer is gonna taste it and you're gonna explain to him that this taste is because of that, well, they had learned something, so it's fantastic, and they're
Mm,
very happy,
mm, mm,
and they're gonna buy the bar anyway, even
mm.
if it's a bit less better.
Right,
No.
right. Because you, from your point of view, you can pick out the very nitty gritty. It's like when you create your own art or something, you see all the flaws, but a lot of times the customers don't see the tiny flaws. They still
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's still
So
better than your Lindt and Cadbury and all that.
oh,
Anyway.
mhm. There are the reason why I didn't like chocolate
Right,
at
right.
first.
So we touched on this a little bit. Let's just touch on it one more time. So you have detailed information on your website about the cacao origins, where they come from. Why is this information important to the consumer? Why should they care?
Well, it's both for the customers, but also for the producers. I'm gonna explain. Still, when you know all the work that has been done uh, at the origin also, and you eat the bar, then I have a QR code, right? QR code
QR code, yeah.
the behind beside the bar
Mm,
that goes to the website, so you are eating your bar, and oh my god, they do that, oh my god, they've done that, oh, they are here, oh, maybe I can go on Google Earth and go to see where's their area.
yeah.
And uh, for me it's very important.
Mm,
When I talk about pakibato from Philippines, everyone is like, oh my god, Philippines, it's fantastic, woo. Well, it's on Mindanao, it's not the hoo hoo, it's not the sun every day.
mm,
It's it's not the best island to go when you go on tourist.
mm, mm,
But they can understand what they've done. This is a incredible company.
mm,
Um, Even in Finca Garit in Ecuador, you can, learn that they try to, they avoid totally CCN 51.
mm,
They try to teach other farmers to, take back, the national. So, and you can, well, for people, they can, learn something. Um, they can be a part of something by
mm,
buying this bar. And for my farmer, they are always very, it's always an emotion when I take my bar, and I take my boussole, compass.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I have my compass, I have my bar, and so they see where they are. So I explain to them that is for my customers at the end, that
Mm,
it's very important for me that they know they exist, and to
right.
have all the information they can have.
Yeah.
That's
No,
transparency for me
yeah.
also.
And I think anyone who produces their own food, wherever it is, there's a lot of satisfaction in seeing people use it and enjoy it. And I think it's nice to give them that chance as well, the cacao growers. Yeah, wonderful.
Exactly.
What do you think? Because some people say that the bean to bar world, craft chocolate world is sort of, it's not growing as fast as people expected. So do you think that? And if you do, what do you think is holding back the bean to bar world? What can be improved?
um I used to think that it was like coffee 30 years ago. No one knew about specialty coffee, but I'm not sure that it is this now, because coffee, or have a good coffee, do good roasting, and then that's it. I think it's all the work you have to do. It's, you can't do this job because of the money you can get, on your company. You're going to be always poor. uh, so you have to have this passion, so I think, less people then. And also,
Mm,
um, for the knowledge that people can have, I think it's like journalists. They need to talk about bean to bar. They
mm,
do now a
mhm,
bit
mhm,
more,
mhm,
but they really need to do a better work about investigation and not
mhm,
always talking about the same.
mhm,
So I think that's what holding, the bean to bar movement. And also, well, we have to be true. A bar in a grocery shop is like €2, and my bar is at 8.
right. Yeah,
So you can't eat all the bar in one every night.
right. I think because in the craft beat the bar world, you're you're challenging people's minds in so many levels. You're challenging their mind in the way of how it tastes, the flavor. You're challenging their mind from the price point of view, how they should eat. Don't eat just a whole bar, have a few pieces. You're changing the way how people are supposed to live with chocolate. And that's a lot of work to do while you're making chocolate and doing what you need to do at the same time. So, yeah.
And also, it's not always easy for people, because we all the bean to bar are very different, even if you have the same origin. And if someone um takes, I don't know which one, Anamalai from India,
Mhm.
they buy it at my place, they buy it to my neighbors and to my other neighbors. It's not easy, it's not easy for them to understand why this one is better, this one is not,
Mm,
why this one is over roast,
mm, mm, mm.
so
Yeah, I think we're at a point in the industry where it's growing, especially in the last 5, 10 years, a lot of chocolate makers, there's not a lot of standardization. So you're going to get a lot of variance in
mm.
quality. And in some ways, I would argue that's good because, it's like bread. Bread has been around for thousands of years, and everyone in every corner of the earth has their way of doing bread. And I like that now people are starting to change the way they do chocolate. Someone in Mexico is going to do it very different than how you guys do it in France. But at the same time, standardization has its place too. So people don't get too confused and overwhelmed, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And that's going to be a challenge. And that's going to, get some people upset, always when you try to standardize things, it's going to cause
Well,
some.
when I have two person who's coming in my shop and they didn't know about chocolate, bean to bar chocolate.
Mm,
Well, when they're gonna get out, they're gonna talk about with maybe their neighbors, and
right,
then we're gonna have 4% who will
right,
know
right,
about bean to bar,
right.
and then and I think we need time to have
Yeah.
everyone talking to
Because
someone,
like
talking to
10,
someone.
15 years ago, there were so few chocolate
Whew.
makers on the map. And now there's so many. And like you said, even if they're tiny little ones, that's one, two customers, the two customers create two more, two more. And so now you have more little nucleation sites all around the world to kind of spread. So hopefully that works.
And you see, I had a show, a TV show, on national TV,
Mhm.
a month ago.
Mm,
2.5 million people watch the show. So
mm,
we have 2 million person who knows about bean to bar.
right.
So
Yeah.
I think this is very important for journalists and also cook, to talk and use this kind of chocolate. And I think that will go faster.
That's another point that comes up too, is the fact that we're selling direct to the customers, you're selling direct to the customer, but there's a whole world of cooks, pastry chefs who don't respect or appreciate chocolate either, you know? So like they're making high-end food, you know, 4-star, whatever it is, and even
Yeah.
they don't appreciate it. So how can we expect the customers to appreciate it if they don't? You know, that's another, you talk about journalists, but that's another avenue to get
Yes,
the
of
word
course.
out. Yeah. And that's going
That's
to be
for
a
sure.
challenge. Yeah.
I know a big chief, he has three-star, so that's a lot. Um, he used some what's this Milka
Mm.
and crunch in his dessert. And he's talking about where the tomatoes come from. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, there's a big divide there. It's really interesting. When I was working as a chocolatier, my colleagues and even some of my bosses, they don't care at all about bean to bar world. It's not even on their radar. I could never understand that. So there's a long way to go there too, even within the culinary industry.
One of my chocolatier, before he has been chocolatier since um, I think 15 years ago, 15
Mm,
years.
mm,
And when he came here, uh, it was only because he wanted to quit first chocolatier before. So, and
mm.
when he tastes this chocolate, he was, agreed to learn again, and to, because it was the first time for him that it was pleasure to eat chocolate. He was doing some chocolate every day, and he didn't even like chocolate. That's weird.
Yeah,
And didn't know how to make chocolate.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. You must be having an incredible time there for sure, definitely. But I can imagine he probably hated tempering your bean to bar chocolate when he started.
uh
Compared to the couverture,
yeah,
it's
well, it
not the
was
same. When
yes,
I had to learn, I'm like, what? It's so thick. I'm like, it drove me crazy.
that was not easy for him, but what was worth for him, it's I do all my bonbon, and I don't use glucose, I don't use
Mm,
sorbitol,
mm,
I don't use any additive, I
mm,
don't use, and that was very difficult for him.
mm, mm.
Oh, you can't do that if you don't have any glucose. Well, yes, you can.
Yeah,
Just, you will
yeah,
see.
yeah. It just won't last 4 or 5 months on the shelf. That's all.
Yeah.
Um, when you host your tastings, your classes, what have you learned from your customers? What surprised them the most that you see over and over again?
Well, when they come, the first question I ask is, what do you like? And they always say, well, dark or milk, but they never talk about fruitiness, spice or anything. So that's funny, because at the end, when they want to do the shopping, they're always saying, well, oh, now I want, like these kind of notes, so it's great for me,
That's
because,
wonderful.
we
Yeah.
can see that. And the other thing is about bitterness. All of them, they think that dark chocolate is bitter. Always,
Yeah.
always, always. And if sometimes they say, well, I don't like dark chocolate, I prefer milk. And at the end, they eat the nibs and they think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, see?
Yeah. Yeah. It had nothing to do with dark milk. It had to do with
No,
ingredients, quality.
no, nothing.
Yeah. Wonderful. You have a wide range of products on your online shop. Did you always want to have such a wide range? Because a lot of chocolate makers, when they start, they have like 4 or 5 single origin darks, that's it. And then maybe they add a few, but you seem to have a lot. So did you always want to create this, or was this maybe to adapt to what customers wanted? What was the
Well,
process behind
about bars, I always wanted to have like 9 or 10 different origin to have, this choice for people to change a lot or to find different flavors. But then and also some dark milk. I do a 70% dark milk with 5% of milk. That's all. Just to let people that don't like, dark chocolate to go to the dark.
The step, yeah, a gateway.
And then I've been asked to do some milk, and then I've been asked to do some, with inclusion.
Mhm.
And then we have so many bars. I think we have like 40. It's
Wow.
And we do also all the bonbons, so it's
Right.
a lot. And we are only 3.
Wow. That's
So
incredible.
I need to hire someone. So if there's a chocolatier who wants to come over, you're welcome.
There we go. Beautiful. What would you say are the core values of your company?
Well, we can say we are, if we can have, this word that will be, with a large meaning, but it exists. It's also us as chocolatier. It's also what we do with the bars, with the bonbon, in shops, online. It's that we are absolutely natural,
Mm, mm,
100% natural with everything, with the ingredients, the way we want to communicate also,
right, right.
So I think this is a good
Yeah,
meaning for us.
yeah.
What do you
No,
think?
yeah, no, I like that. I like the idea that you don't want to use lecithin, you don't want to add anything unnecessary because it's about the craft. I think a lot of the bean to bar movement is about the craft of chocolate making and the skills involved. And it's easy to cheat, but to create an incredible product without lecithin, without natural artificial flavors and all that, it's difficult. It's difficult. And that's what should be
Yes.
celebrated is the chocolate makers in the world who have earned the skill, who've gained the skill, and we want to celebrate that and showcase that. Hopefully
Thanks.
that's what we do. That's wonderful to hear. You even offer professional, I saw on your website, I think you offer professional bean to bar classes as well. So
Yeah.
why do you want to train more chocolate makers? Why not just focus on your company?
Well, actually, I've got a week next week. I do all my week. I have 8 person who's coming,
Nice.
and well, I think that more we're gonna be with the good definition
Mm,
of bean to
mm,
bar, the better it's gonna be for
mm,
everyone. And I think that chocolatier, that just temper the chocolate in a few years, it's gonna be done for him.
mm.
I think
Yeah.
maybe 10 or 20 years, but so more we're gonna be, the best it's gonna be.
I think
And
so too. Yeah.
um, I do that since 3 years. And what's funny, it's when I start to do those classes, it was always people who just like chocolate, and wanted to do maybe a business about it.
Mm.
And next week, on 8 person, I have 6 chocolatiers.
Really? Wow. That's
Ooh,
amazing.
even someone who has 15 years of experience.
Wow, that's
And I
good.
think this is incredible.
Yeah.
It's got things are changing.
That's exciting to me because not to lessen anyone else. I appreciate that people are coming from different careers and aspects and getting into chocolate. I think that's amazing and it brings something new. But that's an untapped industry. Like these chocolatiers now, they're going to step back and start doing it from the start. And they already have so many skills that people in the bean to bar world don't have. I see, not to be mean or anything, but sometimes you see the products of some of these bean to bar makers and they know how to make the chocolate. But when it comes to the bonbons and the figurines and like the skill level is very low. But now you have like you're training these chocolatiers and they already have the skill for chocolate. They just need to know
Exactly.
how to make it. That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yes, and I give every recipe, I'm like a free book,
Wow.
it's because whatever, even if they try to do the same, they will never do. We are
That's a good.
always different.
It's like
And
my nonna and my aunts. They all try and make the same pasta sauce recipe or arancini, and nobody can make it the same as my nonna.
of
So
course,
you can still teach.
never.
Yeah,
So it's incredible. And,
yeah.
I'm very pleased because now I have a few more bean to bar that I've trained, and it's,
And
I
that
feel
also
happy with it.
helps your suppliers. That also helps the cacao growers. They need more
Of
buyers. They
course.
need more people to support them, right? Because if
And
they
where to
don't,
buy it?
exactly. Yeah,
Very
exactly.
important because, you can't buy,
From
in different
Amazon or
platforms.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point too. If somebody starts on this journey then of chocolate making, either as a business or a hobby, do you have any advice, one or two points that you want to give them that maybe you didn't think about when you started chocolate making?
Well, just uh even if it's longer to do good chocolate,
Mm,
don't try to cheat with another over roast, or going
mm,
faster with the melanger.
mm,
Don't try to cheat. Just, let the chocolate reveals everything he has to reveal, and take your well, you have to be patient.
right,
Be
right.
patient.
Patience in chocolate is synonymous. You have to. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what does the future hold for you and your business? What are some long-term goals you hope to see?
Well, I have another shop. Well, here we're in the manufacturer, in the factory, and we have a little shop. And I have another one who it's a shop, but you also have a chocolate bar.
Oh, okay.
So my goal uh, is to have a few chocolate bar.
So for drinking chocolate or
Yeah,
I love
like
that.
a
That's amazing.
barista, but
Yeah.
with chocolate.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
really crazy because, in my mind, well, if I can have, could say, wish to come true, um, I will have chocolaterie and I will have chocolate bar, and people could, have different chocolates in, like bars, bonbons, mousse au chocolat, chocolate mousse, a brownie, a cookie, and they can feel always, differences with the origin. That's,
Yeah, if it's done properly, you could have
yeah,
single origin mousse. You can have single origin
yeah.
cake and cookies. And people say, oh, the chocolate doesn't make a difference because you're adding all these other ingredients. But again, if you're using good ingredients, you make it well, it does make a big difference in the flavor.
It's a
Definitely.
big difference, the
Yeah.
mousse au chocolat. The mousse, I have got like always three or four different, and well, it's really, really different. Just even a cake,
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. That's really cool to hear that. Very nice.
and even for the drink, they come in the bar, and they say, "Well, I want this origin with this milk with this recipe,"
That's
and
really
well,
cool.
that's what we
Wow.
do, and
Yeah.
they really like that.
That's amazing. Well, that's really exciting. I think I need to come to France sometime soon then and try. You're getting me excited. And what is the best way for people to connect with you? Where can they buy your products? Where do you ship?
Website. The website is uh, the best solution, or to come over. But I'm here from Canada. It's a long way.
Yeah.
Well, the website, we ship everywhere.
Okay. Wonderful. Good, good. Well, thank you so much, Melanie. It was a pleasure to
Thank
speak with
you.
you. I
Yeah.
appreciate your work and your excitement, and I hope to see a lot more happening.
Yes, of course. And I hope that you can. Well, I need to send you some chocolate.
That would be nice. Yeah. I never say no.
We
Excellent.
talk about that. So,
Okay. Thank you so much, Melanie. All the best.
bye.
Take
See you.
care. Au revoir.
Bye.
Download the free Bean to Bar app to connect with incredible chocolate makers from around the world. Also be sure to visit beantobarworld.com, your portal for all things fine chocolate, virtual tastings, free learning resources, research, and much more. Subscribe to the newsletter to stay in touch and donate to the free app and free resources here. Contact me for any chocolate-related questions you may have.